invasion and subsequent quasi-occupation by U.S. forces destroyed Panama's only sustained experiment in building a country independent of U.S. tutelage. That experiment, known as Torrijismo for the 1968 to 1981 regime of General Omar Torrijos, was and remains the leitmotif, the central point of reference, as Panama attempts once again to shape an identity as a Latin American nation in the post-Noriega, post-invasion era. Manuel Noriega's alleged involvement in the flood of narcotics from South America to the United States was the final degeneration of the Torrijos experiment, as he obliterated in an orgy of venality and greed the social and diplomatic achievements of the Torrijos era that had won international respect for Panama. Noriega maneuvered masterfully among his clients with the cunning of a con man turned caudillo, slipping seamlessly from the rhetoric of anti-communism to third world activism. Noriega did business with many powerful, politically diverse forces: the CIA and the Pentagon, Israelis, Cubans, Sandinistas, and Contras, the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Colombian cartel. Many paid him, but no one controlled him. This book is the product of a 4-year investigation. While there is much here to confirm the worst charges brought against Manuel Noriega by his erstwhile American allies and his more steadfast Panamanian enemies, I have deliberately stepped back from the demonization that characterized much of the American press coverage of Noriega. Some will find a tone of what might be called sympathy for the devil. For the fascination of Manuel Noriega is not in making him out to be a monster, but in understanding his complexity, his moral ambiguity, his racial and economic origins, and his determination to play the game master, setting the rules when he could, manipulating them when he couldn't. It is in understanding the man capable of designing an intelligence ploy during the Canal Treaty negotiations that set U.S. congressional committees and government intelligence agencies off on a wild goose chase, and understanding how Noriega could be the same man who made only cursory preparations for the inevitable U.S. invasion, and who looked to a good luck charm for protection as he fled from U.S. troops. For Americans, Noriega is important not only as an undemocratic dictator brought to heel, a drug trafficker brought to justice. For us, he is first and foremost our man in Panama, the man who became what he is thanks to the unparalleled mentorship of the United States, an official intimacy that began with a $10 payment to a bright student in 1955 and lasted for 3 decades. Noriega is a living sign of contradiction to his one-time enthusiastic supporters, many at the highest levels of the U.S. government, who would mask their own complicity by directing our attention only to Noriega's evil and away from their own devil's bargain with him. In mid-1991, Noriega prepared for his next act, the trial that promised to rank with the Iran-Contra case for political and intelligence spectacle. Later in 1991, barring unforeseen developments, a jury of U.S. citizens was to be given the task of hearing the government's case and determining Noriega's guilt or innocence on the narrow questions of his alleged drug trafficking violations outlined in the Miami indictment. But in its broader significance, United States of America v. Manuel Antonio Noriega, case number 88-0079, CR-Hovler in the United States District Court of the Southern District of Florida, was fought by both sides with an eye to politics as well as law. Noriega from the beginning has done his best to bedevil his American captors with the abundant ironies of his situation. At various points during the long months of wrangling leading up to the trial, Noriega exhibited the variety of personas he could summon up in his defense. The super spy who threatened to reveal information from his long relationship with U.S. intelligence agencies to turn a shaky U.S. drug case against itself. The master propagandist, painting himself as caught in a giant frame-up in reprisal for his